Guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zandy and you are now watching ZTV, and today I want to talk about Love is Blind. Now, I just finished watching it like 3 days ago, and there was some stuff that really stuck out to me. And y'all know I have like this, I wouldn't say okay, it's, and I would say I'm thoroughly intrigued with relationships. I feel like they're so complex. It's just fascinating to me. I was watching this shit like it was a freaking case study. I'm gonna just rant a little bit about what I noticed, and I want y'all to chime in the comments about what you guys noticed. So let me just, but first we're gonna talk about Lauren and Cameron. Now, Lauren and Cameron, I feel like Cameron took the most, he was the most attentive. He had his list. Cameron went in like, okay, let me check and see what they need. Let me check and see what I need. Let me check and see if we're compatible here. Let me see, you know, what's their temperament or what's their history. Cameron was taking notes. He was like really, I think he just really gave the experiment a chance. He came in with an open heart. And I think Lauren did too. And I think that's why they really just matched so well, because you could kind of sense as, you know, they got closer and closer to the wedding date that Lauren was getting a little bit nervous because of what other people would think, or, you know, how other people would perceive her and her internet persona. I would consider her like a social justice warrior in a sense. And to be marrying a white man in this time is almost just as it's a big deal. It's a big deal because black women, oh, I don't even want to go there. I'm not going to go there, but we all know that there is a double standard when it comes to African American men dating outside of their ethnicity and black women doing the same thing. And I think that some of the issues that Lauren and Cameron are getting is because Lauren is not the type of African American woman who black men would reject. You know, normally when, you know, black men don't have an issue with it, it's because the woman isn't necessarily their type, or, you know, she's not like one of the coveted sisters or nothing like that. But Lauren is the type of woman who definitely could have ended up with an African American man. But there's something, oh, hey, it's your money, 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 money. But there's something that she said that I can relate to, that I know a lot of women that I know personally can relate to. She said that she had never been with someone who wasn't afraid to show her just how much they loved her. Let that sink in. They were not afraid to show her just how much they loved her. There's a certain sense of urgency that Cameron possessed during this entire experiment, and I wouldn't equate his urgency to desperation, because I would say some of the others, it was ego, it was desperation, it was self-serving. His was giving. His love for Lauren was obviously from the jump giving. It was, you know, how can I show up for her? And then he said it. I'm going to take care of you. What a load to be lifted off of. Not as if like your husband's supposed to be this working mule of a person and he doesn't get anything, but a lot of what a woman brings to the table is intangible, therefore priceless, but that does not mean she is worthless. And I don't think a lot of men understand that. It is magic. It is literally magic. Some women possess it, some women do not. And I definitely think that him being in touch with his emotions, oh, I just loved it. So for me, I absolutely love Lauren and Cameron together. I feel like they're a great contrast. I love how real she was. She stayed true to herself through the whole time. You could just hear it. They just both seem like such authentic and genuine people. It was beautiful watching them fall in love with each other. And I'm a hopeless romantic. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for her to get pregnant. I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. Then we have Damien and Giannini. Now, all right. Damien and Giannini, to me, I feel like Damien is controlling. I feel like Damien is manipulative, and I do not think that Damien listens. And I think that Giannini telling him that and her being younger than him, he automatically assumed that because she's younger, she's inexperienced, easier to mold and to manipulate and to get over on. So her actually hitting, like seeing him, I think he didn't want to really acknowledge it, because he had already decided in his head that he was going to be this and she was going to be this. And not just like she's less than him, but it was some things that he said. It was the way that he acted. It just seems as though he definitely wants to be the person in control in their relationship. And that's your ego. And I think it's very intimidating to be with a woman who is as beautiful as Giannini is for him, because he let us know what he was insecure about. He was insecure that she would not find him attractive initially. So that lets me know he doesn't find himself attractive. He does not think he's attractive. And then being with someone who, as he said, has this, social media presence. She's this beautiful younger woman with this great body. She's very bubbly and outspoken. That can be very intimidating for someone who already feels as though he's not attractive. And then he has to, I would say, compete in some sense. Not to her. I think Giannini really loved him. I think that she just really wanted there to be a lot of open communication and transparency, because to her, I think her family is just one of those families that's like my family. If you can't be your raw, true, all the way boiled down, reduce the fraction to the one with somebody, then that's not your person. And I think, but it's pollen. I got allergies. I hope that's what it is, but I'm in the house either way, it don't matter. Little pins up, y'all, because I just pulled my stuff out the wall, so I might step on a pin, but I'm trying to make sure I don't, because I have before and that mess hurts. But yes, and I feel like when Giannini was up there, I wanted to cry for her. Oh my gosh, I wanted to cry for her. When he told her no, I was like, I know you did not just tell her no. I know you lying. I know you didn't just, why I keep messing with my hair? I know you didn't just have this beautiful woman up here pour her heart out to you, and you say the same thing. Because to me, if you already know, and he already knew that he was going to say no. He already knew that he was going to say no, because the reasons that he gave her for why he said no, you formulate those types of ideals before you even walk your crooked letter up there to the aisle. He was playing chess, not checkers. That was a power move. That gave him the ability to basically put her in a position to feel unworthy of him in some capacity. And for him, because he can't haggle with the looks in that department. But anyway, I definitely feel like he used his age and his experience as leverage to hold over her head and to keep her in her place. And him rejecting her at the aisle was in an attempt to humble her in some sense. That was a power move, and that's just how I'm gonna see it. And I don't like Damien for Giannini. I do not like it. Next, Kelly and Kenny. That's the wrong picture for Kelly and Kenny. Okay, so Kelly and Kenny, let's be very, very clear. Kenny is a beautiful man. Kenny is so fine. Kenny looks like he smells like ocean breeze and like lemon zest, but not that harsh kind, like warmth, like when you lay your head on. Kenny is a beautiful man. I don't know what Kelly was talking about, that he looks like a friend. Girl, are you blind? I don't know what she was talking about, but I feel as though hair color, if that's what she was really hung up on, maybe his breath was stank or something, I don't know, but she's still single and he's not, so obviously it was her, not him. Well, not obviously, because sometimes people just rush into stuff, because fools do rush in sometimes, so I can't even say that. But I don't know what she was talking about. It seemed like they had so much chemistry in their conversations, but he does seem a little detached, like he's there but not completely. And I found it weird when he actually asked her about having relations. And I thought that was interesting because although they seemed like they had a, you know, like a really good connection, I can see what she was talking about. And maybe the disconnect was him not really knowing her very, very well. And maybe he thought that in an attempt for them to have relations, it would make them seem closer. But I did sense a bit of, and in the way that he talked, he just seemed a bit detached. Like something is not off in a bad way, but something is not there fully, if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just seeing something different. I don't know. But I definitely picked up on him being invested, but not like fully and completely. But when she told him no at the altar, I felt that shame, that embarrassment, because he really wanted to try. He really wanted to give it all that he had. I really don't like that part about how they wait until the very last minute to tell people yes or no. It's absolutely humiliating. And when you're actually trying to give it a shot in that way, I don't even know if I would be able to come back from something like that. That's just like, that happened to me. Okay, I talked about it, you know, a little while ago, but that kind of happened to me where on the day that I was supposed to get married, we broke up, and it was devastating. Okay, so I can just like imagine how he must have felt, especially with it being like just this. It just seemed like he didn't do anything wrong. It just seemed like he tried and he was there, and for what he could do in the short amount of time that they were given, I can understand it. But if you weren't going to take that leap of faith, then you shouldn't have come on the show, is what it seems like. Barnett and Amber. Now, Barnett, let me tell you about Barnett now. Barnett, it really didn't come together for me until he went home. When Barnett went home, I was like, see what's going on here. This don't have nothing to do with you really thinking you that dude. This don't have nothing to do with you just trying to make sure that you pick the right person for you. You're picking the right person for your family. You're that guy. You're that guy. You feel like you gotta live in the shadow of your brother, who's probably hating on you, Barnett. Your brother probably make more money than you, but your brother probably low-key secretly wish he was you, and he probably just be talking crap about you because he's jealous of you because you fine. But you're not as fine as Kenny to me, or as fine as Cameron to me, but you cute, but you not like, you know what I'm saying, but whatever. Barnett is like, for his ethnicity, my preference is African-American men, Korean, Vietnamese, Japanese, Chinese men. I find them very attractive. Indian men, I find them very attractive. Spanish men. But I feel like they worked because I think Amber is the type of person he wishes he was, and that's how they balance each other out. I think that's why he said she scares the crap out of him, because it is like, wow, I wish that I had the just the nerve to say exactly what I feel, just like I feel it. I think that going forward, itching. I think going forward, they might face some issues because Barnett clearly has an issue with drawing boundaries. When you are married, and you're in I would say, a long-term committed relationship, you do have to understand that you putting your family in one place and your partner in another place is not you disrespecting, turning your back on, or rejecting, or lessening the love you have for your family. And I think that when people have a hard time with that, it's because usually their family is dibbling and dabbling and crossing all of their boundaries, and their significant other doesn't have a place. That could create problems for them going forward. You definitely have to establish boundaries about the things you're going to talk about, the things that you're going to allow your family to comment on, the things that you're going to allow them to ask you. How you and your partner should always, seem like a team, and you should definitely vet for your partner in front of your family. You don't bad talk your partner in front of your family or friends. And if you are going to vent to your family and friends, you have to also not just talk about the bad stuff, but you have to talk about the good stuff too, because you're always supposed to be in defense of your partner, unless they're like physically abusing you, mentally abusing you, emotionally abusing you, like using money as a way to abuse you, things like that. But you're supposed to be like your partner's number one fan. And when she asked him if this was, I think she asked him something like, if there was an issue, you know, would you be able to stand up for me? And he was like, he doesn't know. To me, that's a red flag. And I just would have, like, emotionally, for me, when I realized that a person is like a mama's boy, oh, I don't know if this gonna get me in no trouble. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's my channel, I'm grown. I'm gonna say how I really feel about the situation. Mama's boys are the biggest turnoffs ever. I always find myself in a situation with them. And it's just a really big turnoff to me personally, because as long as you're your mama's boy, you can never be my man. And a man leads, and you can definitely love your mother. You can, you know, talk to your mother all the time and be there for your mother all the time. But the second you don't know how to respectfully check your mother, and I hate using the word check, because especially African American community, that word is just automatic, pop right in the mouth, just pop, you know what I'm saying? It's just automatic disrespect, brings up defenses and things like that. But sometimes our parents do overstep boundaries, and I just feel like his family, they don't give me that inkling though. Like, his family doesn't make me feel like they would overstep those boundaries. I think that his inability to stop people pleasing and living for his family could create the issues, and her probably noticing that could also be a problem. Like, she could probably get fed up with him constantly, maybe keeping up with the Joneses and keep up appearances. That could really get on her nerves, because she just don't seem like the type to want to do that kind of stuff, obviously. So that's my spiel on them. Do I think they're gonna stay together? Probably to save face, because Barnett does not want to look like he made a mistake, or like, and not that she's a mistake, because I don't even think it wouldn't be because of her not being good enough for him. I think that him not feeling like he's good enough for anybody or anything, because that's what he was saying. He's afraid that he's gonna mess it up. He's afraid that he's gonna hurt somebody, which just lets me know that maybe he has a track record of cheating, or not being dependable, or, you know, not being fully invested, and he's afraid that that's what's going to come out, and he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to mess this up. So if they stay together for a very long time, hopefully it's because they really grew to really love each other. They look like soulmates though. They look so cute. So that's, you know, but I feel like if troubles did arise and the love did like fizzle out, they would stay together just to save face, and it would be Barnett's doing, I think. Mark and Jessica. Okay, Miss Jessica, because I see you and I get it, boo. I understand. We get it. Maybe you've had a lot of fun. Maybe you're still punishing yourself for choices that you made, because you haven't forgiven yourself yet, and you don't see yourself as worthy of love. You don't see yourself as worthy of more. I'm here to tell you, you deserve all of that. When a man tells you no, when a man tells you he does not want you, I'm pretty sure she already knows this. This is not for her. This is for someone else who may have seen himself in her, who may have cringed because they had a moment similar. You have to let that go. There was a few things. So, okay, Jessica's beautiful. Jessica's beautiful. She has a great body and she's very accomplished. On paper, this woman has no reason to feel insecure. It's all in her mind. Jessica convinced herself that this was not going to work. If you listen to the conversation she was having with herself, she was saying, my friends probably wouldn't. My family probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't. They probably would. His mom is going to say this and say that and say this. Just projecting, just to find out at every turn, no one cared. Just her. No one cared that there was a 10-year age difference. He didn't care. His mama didn't care. His friends, no one cared. I think one of his friends said something about it, but that was just because of him being, I think it was just like, oh, you're young, you sure you want to do something like this, da, da, da. But that could be his friend projecting, because maybe his friend feels like at this point in his life, he's not ready for it. And my friend shouldn't be ready for it either, because we're the same age, blah, blah, blah. But that's not his business. When someone tells you what they want, Giannini telling Damien that she wanted to get married, you don't then flip it and tell them what they're ready for. People are grown enough to tell you what they're ready for. And at 24, 25, you definitely know if you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody or not. You do. And if you do not, you can drink, you can drive, you can do all these things. If you feel as though you're not the person who has to go around the world and kiss on all the boys and lick all the frogs and other things before you find your person. Please stop invalidating people's human experiences and reducing them to children because of your own insecurities. That man knew he loved you. That man wanted to be with you. And that's just that. Now, red flag, you can't say you want to be somebody's husband and you cannot provide. Hold there. Hold on. Relax. You can't do that. If you are talking about being somebody's husband, you got to be able to provide, because that's something that women crave, is stability, because we have a tendency to get pregnant and then babies need to be born. And as a woman who had to work through both of her pregnancies, I would never do that again, ever in my life. And my relationships going forward, if I ever am going to fart out more children for some lucky man, I'm not working while I'm pregnant. And that's not me being lazy. It is just honestly exhausting. I carry babies horribly, like horribly, meaning my HCG levels be through the roof. I cannot walk from the bed to the bathroom without throwing up. Just leaning forward makes me so nauseous. You would think that I have been on a boat rocking for hours. That constant state of nausea, and you want me to be around people all day? Feet swelling up like this, face fat as this, head filled with so much fluid. I feel like I can hear it swishing around in my brain. No, ma'am, won't be able to do it. She's not going to. I'm going to be barefoot pregnant at home, raising my children at home. And when I'm done, because I love to do something, I can't sit down and do nothing, obviously. Because men sometimes have a tendency to hold money up your head. Anyway, yes, she was hell bent on ruining this relationship, and that's exactly what she did. She convinced herself that it would not work, and she made sure it did not work. And then there was that scene where she kissed Jessica, I think it was. She kissed Jessica. No, she is Jessica. What is her name? Barnett and Brenda. Barnett and who? Who is Barnett with? Okay, so Jessica kissed Amber in the mouth. And I feel like Jessica kissed Amber in the mouth because she knew that was the closest she was ever going to get to kissing Barnett. And it was just a very sad situation to see. And poor Mark. You know, Mark is short and, you know, his struggle is very real, but he is fine. Mark is so fine. Mark, like, he smell good, but he do look like when he get drunk, he might get a little crazy. I don't know how true that is. Okay. And is this the last one? Yes. She is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna say about Jessica and Mark. She was an emotional mess. She did not do her healing before she came to this show. She was not ready for a real commitment. She was not. She was not ready to take a leap of faith. She was not open. And as soon as she saw him, you could tell the disappointment was there. And she immediately started psyching herself out. And this is a note for men. If she does not, you guys choose first. Men choose first, right? And then women choose. If she does not choose you back, do not be with her. Women, we know, just like you guys know, if anybody is ever indecisive about if they want to be with you or not, and I'm talking about in a very real sense, and they literally are like toiling with you or playing, you know, this person, don't even entertain it. I wouldn't entertain it in any capacity. Like, if they are seriously, especially if she only chose you whenever she felt rejected by someone else. And that's the only time she ever chose Mark, was when she felt like, okay, Barnett really doesn't want me. Barnett sure he doesn't want me. Barnett, maybe he wants me. Okay, he's really done. I'm really, you know, I'm good where I'm at. It was like she was settling. And the person that she convinced herself she was settling for is not a settle. He's a great man. That man is not a settle type of man. He may need to get his dollars up, but at least he's ambitious, so that's going to happen regardless. I feel like Jessica may, well, she already did some counseling, so that's good, because she definitely needed it. Now, Carlton and Diamond. This is the part of the video where somebody gonna get mad. Now, I think Diamond is smart. I think Diamond is loving. I think Diamond is transparent, and she just seems like she seems like she would be a very good partner for somebody. Now, Carlton, I think Carlton is a representation of the bulk of men that are out in the dating world right now. I do. I think there's nothing wrong with his sexuality. There's absolutely that was not the issue. My issue with Carlton was before he even gave her the option to choose, he already set the tone for her rejecting him, which then creates a victim and a mean person, in which the only way she wouldn't be the mean person is if she accepted him. That's manipulation, and I don't like that. Carlton was not transparent. He did not come off as... He just irked me. Carlton irked my nerves. He did. He irked my scalp itching just thinking about it, y'all. Let me just... Every time I think about this, I get a little upset. Because we've all dated a Carlton before. And we're not even talking about his sexuality. We're just gonna act like that's none of this. That's none of this. That's none of this. None of this has anything to do with Carlton's sexuality. We're gonna take that and put it over here. My issues with the way Carlton went through this is the first thing he did was he presented himself as absolutely perfect. Nobody's perfect. He presented himself as, I'm here because as soon as women see me, it's just like, they just, they see my money, they see how good I look, and they see these amazing things about me, and I just want someone who's going to love me. Carlton did not approach this from the perspective of someone who's willing to give love. He just was in this for himself, and I feel as though, listening to him talk, Carlton was there to see who would be his fool. And I think that he thought because Diamond was being open, she couldn't see that he's an opportunist. That man's not genuine. Carlton is not genuine. All my spidey senses was tingling with him. Remember when they was tingling with that guy that I told y'all was trying to tell me he wasn't still talking to his baby mother, and I found out he was still talking to his baby mother? It's always something in people's tone. It's in their bone structure. It's in their facial expressions. It's in their body language. You can tell when someone's full of crap if you pay attention. Carlton's full of crap. Carlton knows dang on well he is not interested in really being committed to a woman. And this is my issue, and I'm finna say it. This is my issue with bisexual men. I've listened to this conversation. I've been a part of this conversation. I've sat still and just, when I say like been a fly on the wall during these conversations. And bisexual men only have an interest in women during the time of their life when they feel as though they're ready to have children. And once they have their children with that woman, most times they move on. And him saying he was ready to be with a woman because men were not as nurturing or as warm, they're men. There are some men who are like that, and there are some women who are more masculine, but in our most natural state, why would you expect them to behave like women? They're not women. I do not believe that he, in this instance, was a genuine person at all. I don't see it. Nope, not buying it. Carlton was full of crap. Carlton knew what he was doing, and his true colors showed when he said what he said to her. I don't deal with bees like you. You don't like people with sense. You don't like people who are going to call you out. And she called him out, and I'm so proud of her for sticking to herself. And you can tell she don't argue a lot. You can tell she's smart and she's sharp, but she doesn't get in situations with people like this, because the way she started singing that song was so cute. It's like, you so not used to arguing. You just played in the mirror like, if somebody ever tried me, this is what I'm gonna say to them. And she actually did it. It was so cute. Like, girl, you don't be arguing like that. It's okay though. You ain't really about that life like some of us be arguing with these folks. Okay. Who's shy? But we gonna stop arguing with these folks, because if he ain't got it, he ain't gonna get it, and I can't give it. So breach. But when she told him that, first of all, he can't beat her being upset. He can't be more upset than her, or basically prioritize his pain over her confusion when he was not forthcoming. She was holding him accountable, and he did not want to hear it. Carlton was like, you're the only one who have a problem with this. But if she's the only one who has a problem with this, then why were you crying? And why were you fearful of rejection? Who were these other people who were rejecting you? What was that conversation about? What happened? Do they exist or don't they? I think that maybe he's never been honest. Carlton definitely gives me DL vibes. He makes me feel like he convinced himself that no one would be accepting, so he never told anyone. And then when they found out, they were upset. So he just convinced himself that it was because he was bisexual, and it had nothing to do with his lack of integrity. And I know about lapses in integrity. I've had that. Been there, done that, know about it, know what I'm talking about. I've been the sleaze before. I've lied. I've manipulated, done that, know what I'm talking about. Sweetheart, you cannot get your way like that. You have to give people the option to choose. And it's not even just giving people the opportunity to choose. Let me not point fingers, because I got pointing that back at me. I'm pointing to the sky because I feel like I'm preaching to somebody. It's about trusting your partner enough with your truth. And when he did not tell her, from the moment he knew that he was going to ask her to marry him, he should have told her before, while they were doing all of these really transparency moment conversations and things like that. That's when you tell somebody that, because he set her up for the okie doke. She's thinking that her man is one way, he's this person, and not one way as in his sexuality. She's thinking he's honest. She's thinking they have open communication. She's thinking he's transparent, and he's none of those things. And he comes out to be this self-serving, narcissistic, manipulative, gaslighting a-hole. That's what I think of Carlton. I don't think that he is scum of the effing earth, no. But if I were her, I would never talk to him again, ever, in any capacity. And if I was any woman out there, I would be extremely cautious with him, because seeing himself in that light, sometimes it is very hard for us to see ourselves, okay? And once we do, you're either going to shed skin and become a different type of snake, or you're going to outgrow whatever skin that was and become a different type of person. He can take this as, oh, wow, I really sounded like I didn't care about anybody but myself. I didn't seem to be too interested in what I could give to her and what I could do for her. He was more so interested in what she could do for him, what he wanted out of the deal. And that's cool. You are supposed to consider yourself, but to only consider yourself, sweetheart, that is selfish. It is selfish. You are going into a marriage, a relationship, a union, a partnership. This is not just about you. You are not the only person to be considered emotionally, mentally, physically. Your fears and insecurities are not more important, superior, or should be esteemed higher than your partner's. The focus of the relationship is not you. This person is not here to be your maid, your servant, your concubine, your this and your that. You do have to respect. And that's me as a woman learning that is very, very hard, because we have been conditioned that this is supposed to be my superhero. He never supposed to tell me no. He always supposed to give me that meat. He always supposed to do what I want to. He only supposed to do what I like. And it's very hard when you realize that no, that is not equal. It is not. If I can say no, he can say no. If I can be tired, then he can be tired. He's not having a good day. He don't feel like faking the funk just for me. Then that he's entitled to that. People are entitled to their emotions. But it was a setup for Diamond to just be not considered. She would have never been happy in that relationship. And she would have ended up leaving him eventually. She would have. Unless she would have found him in bed with a man. But that's what I think would have happened. Not because it's bisexual, but because he doesn't know how to live in his truth. That is problematic. That's the issue. A lot of women actually are attracted to bisexual men. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Because if you don't know, then I can't say. Because some of us want to get that MMF out the way. Us not being me. Other people, you know what I'm saying? If that is a lifestyle for you, they're not going to see a problem with that. And for you to think that automatically someone would in this day and age, you have the problem with yourself. Just like Jessica had the problem with herself. Just like Damien had the problem with himself and Brad had the problem with himself. There's two type of people in this experiment, and you see them plain and clear. And I'm done talking because it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I got a headache. My throat is a little itchy and I'm hungry. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed my commentary or my opinion on Love is Blind, leave a comment down below on what else you would like me to watch on Netflix and talk about. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.